Temba's wife looked him in the eye and said, "The fire is gone out." He says, "It can't be. I put on that fire last night." She says, "You bloody idiot. I mean the fire in our marriage." And Temba says, "Oh, thank God. I thought I should call another technician to come and help us." So good evening and welcome to the Quickie. And I've got a beautiful story to tell about the guests I have in studio. You know, sometimes we meet people for business and we don't know that they will end up being partners. And these two gentlemen here met as client and service provider, Nxumalo and Nevily Ramoshaba. Andy brought his car for Nevily to help him. And Nevily, by the way, was doing this as a side gig. And started liking the men and said, "Why don't we try this as a business?" And today they own something called LR Tech Automotive. And it's an amazing business out in Centurion. Am I right?
Correct.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for coming.
Good evening.
I love the story. You know, for me, it's one of those things, and I'm going to start with you, Andy, that you take your car firstly to a guy who's doing it as a side job. You get excited about this thing and thinking, maybe there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
At which point, though, did you think we could do this? After how many trials with him solving your car?
Well, he had actually been working on my vehicle for a good number of times.
Yeah.
If it needed a service, if it needed a certain part that needed to be replaced,
Yeah.
I would call him up. He'd tell me what part to purchase, and would set a date. He'd come out to my property. He'd work on the car in my garage.
Yeah.
And after a few such occasions, we struck up the conversation as to what would happen if we were to do this thing formally, you and I.
Yeah.
And of course, we explored all the ideas around it. We looked at all the pitfalls that we'd be facing, particularly and most importantly, funding. And we tried to initiate the project with very little funding. We failed a couple of times. However, we persevered. And then middle of last year, 2019, we managed to raise enough funds. We self-funded. We raised enough funds to start the business.
Yeah.
We bought our own equipment. We leased a property out in Centurion. We got all the insurances in place. We got all the compliances in place. And we actually started with one vehicle on the first day of opening. And
So when you started, you already had a client?
we already had a client.
Wow.
It was a small job. We worked in it, I'm sure, a couple of hours, and it was not the full day on that day.
Yeah.
And the rest of the day we sat and we tried to organize ourselves in our workshop. But eventually word got out there that, hey, LR Tech exists. Like he had clients previously. And
In fact, that's what I want to do. I want to go back a little bit. So you were already working somewhere. You started this thing as a side gig. You had him as a client and I suppose other people. I want us to go back there. When you started a side gig, how did you get these clients? Because that leads us to how you get them now.
Remember, I was working at the dealership.
Yeah.
So clients, they used to see us going up and down, and then they'll come to you and ask to come to their house and service them.
Yeah.
And you'll never say no.
Especially because, especially when our motor plan runs out, that's when we need you, my brother. When that service plan runs out,
the Land Rover prices, they're ridiculous.
Yeah. And mostly, and I then ask, even with LR Tech, are your clients the guys who are out of service plan and they're needing the same quality service at a cheaper price? Is that who are you talking to?
that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
And also, we also servicing the clients with the insurance.
Yeah.
Remember, we are RMI approved.
Yeah. Oh, you are RMI approved. Yes.
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 We running a proper business.
What are your personal backgrounds? I know now you're a mechanic.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not difficult. And your personal background, Andy?
I studied civil engineering and project management many moons ago.
Yeah.
I've been working in the industry for various organizations in the built industry for a good 26 years. And after such a while working in an office environment, I came to think to myself, but what legacy do I want to leave for my children? Is it a certificate that I'm hanging on the wall? Is it a retirement annuity that I've got with a policy service provider? Or do I want to leave something tangible, something that my kids can work on going forward and expand and increase? And I've had a couple of ideas that I could perhaps go into. But this particular one, LR Tech, presented itself and we thought it's too good to pass.
Well, it's too good. It sounds, you make it look too good to pass, but it's not easy.
No.
So you start the business as one client, you finish it in a few hours. I don't know how long it took you to get more clients, but how did you then go out to market? How did you start selling this business?
Remember, a word of mouth is the best.
Yeah.
And the clients we're servicing, they even telling the other clients, this is the LR Tech.
Yes.
And then we also go out and talk to people
Yeah.
ourselves. We sell ourselves.
So, I mean, I've never doubted word of mouth. I think actually is the number one form of marketing. Everything else supports word of mouth. If nobody speaks about you, your reputation means nothing.
Yeah.
But Andy, how do you retain? You know, it's one thing to get me, somebody recommended, says, I know there's Nevily and Andy, try these guys. I bring my Skodong there. You guys do a great job. How do you retain me?
There are a number of...
And I'll tell you why I asked that question before you respond. Because the big boys that you take in business from would occasionally give me a pen, you know, send me this and invite me to an excursion, to a golf day. How do you retain?
We went a step further, in fact, a couple of steps further, where we said we do not only want to get our clients to come out to us. You know, we can also go out to them, do house
So that's a
calls.
differential.
That's it. We do house calls. We do vehicle recoveries. If a client cannot bring the vehicle to us, we actually drive out to them, pick up the vehicle, bring it over to our workshop, work on it, and actually deliver it back when we're done with it. And our experience is that very few, if there's any, similar businesses actually do what we're doing. Further to that, we also have a very open and more, not just a customer service provider relationship, but we have a relationship like friends, where we actually talk to our clients, even if the car needs work or not, you know, and they feel more and more comfortable with us, and they can be able to leave their vehicles with us. They can be able to ask us to do almost anything within our reasonable bounds. So I think that for us is the added advantage on the service that we provide at LR Tech.
And Neville, now you've added something, another service. Now you do panel beating and painting.
And miscreants also.
Yeah.
We also do that.
But did you have to go and acquire new skills to do that? Because that's not fixing an engine. That's a different thing altogether.
I went and get someone who moves.
Okay, so you've got a new resource who does that part. Yeah.
Yes, and then we brought him in, so we're using him.
Do you focus only on luxury cars? Because I mean, I know the story of how it started with this Land Rover. You're working the same industry. You also now drive a Land Rover. Is that where you guys play?
No, we do all the cars. We don't choose which car we have to work on. The car is the car.
Yeah.
They use the same procedure. They got the battery, they got starter. There's no miracle on these luxury cars.
Well, I don't know anything about cars. I just drive them, and I'm very poor at that. But don't they have different languages though? Don't you know when you guys use computers, doesn't it only work for this type of car or the next car?
I do have software which is working on all the cars. I do have specific software for Land Rover and Jaguar.
It's been almost a year, Andy. It's a year in about 2 months or so. How is it going?
Topsy-turvy. At the moment, we are a small player. However, our aims and dreams is to grow LR Tech to become a very competitive service provider. We interacting with a lot of clients. We're interacting with.
Who are your clients? I like that. I mean, who do you have fleet? Do you have? I mean, is it only individuals? Do you have corporates that support you? Who are your clients out there? Let's mention them.
Our first corporate client, we actually walked up to them on a Friday afternoon, and we just simply stuck our business cards in their face and said, "We are LR Tech. We are based just up the road here. We do vehicle service and maintenance, and it's actually a dealer out in Centurion called Inspect Cars." And they were kind enough to send somebody out to us to inspect our premises, to inspect our equipment, and they liked what they saw, and they said, "All right, from next week we'll start bringing you vehicles." There was no real written agreement. It was a gentleman's agreement, and so far it's been working well. We then also approached a major corporate client like Vodacom. There we had to go through the paperwork.
I can imagine, yeah.
But luckily, our paperwork was all in order. And then they brought us on as a service provider, and we've been working well with them so far.
I love your story, gentlemen.
And like to add on that, now we're chasing Prasa. We want them to come on board also.
With the buses.
No, the cars.
Or their
Because
fleet,
they've
the
got
cars, yeah.
security cars and stuff like those. And then we have another client, Mpomlebo. He's an actor engineer.
I know him. I know that fellow. Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
fellow.
he
Yeah.
refers lots of clients to us.
That's excellent. And that people like him referring is very important for your business.
yes.
When you get plus, I hope they do pay. But don't quote me. Don't quote me on that one. How do people get hold of you? We want people to go to you tomorrow, now.
Well, we've got a huge setup in terms of landline operation.
Yeah.
Our landline is 010-109-4570. We also can be found on Twitter. We also can be found on Facebook, Instagram. Also, our email address is lrtechauto@gmail.com.
And on social media is LR Tech.
That's correct.
All platforms.
All platforms.
Great stuff. Now, let me tell you, if for no other reason, why you should use LR Tech. They provide you quality and efficient workmanship, and all their mechanical repair work carries a 6-month guarantee. There is nothing that comforts me than knowing that I can go back within 6 months and say, I was not happy. If for nothing else, you've got that guarantee from them. We're going to repeat all the details on the platform, as you know we always do. We please ask you to give them a chance. After all, they got a chance from Vodacom. Huh? You should give them a chance too. So do follow us also on our platform. Social media is Talk with Rams. And also the podcast and the YouTube, which we hope you now are a subscriber to, is Talk with Rams. And thank you very much. Gents, well done.
Thank you very
All
much.
the best.
We
Make
appreciate
money.
the time.
Most important.
Eventually, we'll probably will.
That's the point of business.